Hello everybody, my name is Faethodas. Welcome to this video, which is an update video for this build that you see here. This is the Fate Atropos build. This is a build that we've been watching and working on for this month August, which is a hot month, very hot month. And this is the first update video, which means this build has already finished the epic difficulty in the campaign on the epic difficulty. So now we are going to check the new items of this build and the skills and in general the development of this build. Of course, if you want to check the first video, the base video of this build guide, there is a description down in the comment section and a link in the comment section and in the description, a link for this first video. So let's see now first the skills and then the items of this build. So this build plays with the Warfare Mastery and the Spirit Mastery. Now in the skills we have, as you can see, first of all of the skills are in blue colors. The levels, the numbers here are all blue. This means that all of our skills in both masteries receive bonus skill points by items. This is why they are blue. So in general we receive +2 skills to all the skills of this build for now. So we have maxed out on +2 the weapon training, which is a mandatory skill. The dual wield, this skill actually is on +4, not on +2. This is why because we are using this helm, which gives +4 to dual wield skill. We have maxed out on +2 the hue skill, which is a powerful skill. These two skills are not be using. I'm not using these two skills. We have on maxed out and on +2 the dodge attacks, very useful skill for survivability reasons. You get 25% chance to dodge attacks. And since this is a melee build and also it is using most of the time two weapons, it is dual wielding, it is not using a shield very much, so this skill is very useful for survivability. Now here we have maxed out and on +2 the Triumph add-on skill, which gives -50% physical damage, physical resistance and stun resistance to the enemies that are getting hit by this skill, that are inside the radius of this skill here, the battle standard. And of course we have the skill on level 5. I'm going to max out this skill in the next difficulty, in the next difficulty playthrough. This skill is going to get maxed out. This is the battle standard, we put it on the ground and we get +1 to all skills, some flat damage, some damage absorption and offensive ability, and also we get energy cost reduction. And of course, since this add-on is been used, this battle standard is a debuff at the same. It is a buff for our characters and at the same time it is a debuff for our enemies. So this is a very nice, very powerful skill. Of course, this skill has quite a big, not very big, but it is a small cooldown, recharge time, so I'm using it mostly on bosses and things like that, not on simple small enemies. Of course, we have maxed out and on +2 the skills, all of the skills of this line. This is the onslaught skill, and here we have the ignore pain, which gives physical resistance and pierce resistance. Here we have the hamstring, which reduces the defensive ability of our enemies, it reduces the armor and it makes the movement speed go down of our enemies. And also the Ardor, which gives more attack and movement speed when we use the onslaught skill. So this line is mandatory for this build to work the best it can. And here we have maxed out on +2 the War Horn skill, which is a skill that is stunning the enemies. It has a good meter radius, 12.4 meters. It is a very nice radius. It has 18 seconds recharge. It is not too much, it is okay. And of course we are using the add-on, which is also on +2 skills. The Doom Horn, which reduces the enemy's health, 30% reduction on level 8. And it reduces the armor of our enemies for 10 seconds. So when we use this one, we stun the enemies for up to 6.9 seconds. And also we reduce their armor for 10 seconds, and we reduce their health by 30% when we use this skill. So this is the development of the Warfare Mastery so far. Now for the Spirit Mastery. Here we have maxed out on +2 the skills Death Chill Aura, an important skill because it reduces the total speed of the monsters, the total speed, which is very important. It also reduces a little bit the health of our enemies when they getting hit by this aura. And with the add-on Ravages of Time, we reduce the damage of our enemies and their armor absorption. And with the Necrosis add-on, we reduce their bleeding resistance, vitality damage resistance, and life leech resistance. As you can see, this is a great add-on because their vitality damage resistance is going down by 98%. So this means that our vitality damage attacks are dealing 98% more damage to these guys. This is a physical and vitality damage build, so you can see how this works. This is a great add-on for this build. Now here I have activated the Death Ward skill. I'm going to max out this skill in the next difficulty. This skill is useful when our health drops below 15%, which means when we are going to die, we are very close to death, this skill is getting activated. It has only 3 seconds duration. It has a huge recharge time. 5 minutes, it is too much. And it gives some health restored and damage absorption. This is very good. It would be great if the skill was not a passive skill, if it was an active skill and we could use it whenever we want it, because actually this skill being passive, it is getting activated even by small enemies. If many small enemies surround us and our life drops below 15%, this skill will get activated, and if we kill these enemies and 10 meters ahead there is a big boss, we would have some problems there. I think it would be better if it was an active skill and we could use it whenever we want it, because we could use it on boss fights, which are the most difficult fights after all. But anyway, what can you do? The truth of the matter is that with small enemies, it is not usually our life does not go down below 15%, so it is not a problem. But I still would prefer it to be an active skill. Anyway, I will max out the skill in the next difficulty level. And of course, in this mastery, we also have maxed out and on +2 the skill Spirit Ward, which gives us the ability to deal more damage to undead and to receive less damage from undead. Plus 54% less damage from undead, which is a very great help for survivability reasons. And the damage to undead, of course, is a great help to kill undead faster. and the add-on Spirit Bane, which gives plus 37 damage to undead, a flat damage, and also plus 90% damage to undead. This is a great skill if we want to kill very fast our undead enemies. Very fast. This is a great combination of skills. And last but not least, we have the Circle of Power skill. Now this skill is on level 3. I am not going to put any more points here because I don't feel there is a need for this skill to be more developed for this specific build, because the more points you put in this skill, the only thing you get is more casting speed, less recharge time for your skills, and less energy cost for your skills. So these three things are not important for this build, but what is very important for this build is the plus 100% vitality damage and, of this skill. And since this build is a vitality damage build, you can see now that when we use this Circle of Power against bosses, our vitality damage to these bosses go up by 100%. So it is a very great help for a vitality build. If you play a vitality damage build, this is a very great help. So this is the development of the skills for this build so far. With these skills I have finished the epic difficulty campaign. Now for the items. For the items we have a few changes and some items remain the same. The items that remain the same, and we saw these items also in the first video of this build guide, which is divided on 3 videos, the build guide. These items that remain the same are the 2 weapons, which is the Atropos Assistant legendary item. We have it 2 times. Actually I have it 4 times, but we will talk about it in a minute. This ring, the Forsaken Jewel of Frost, I am using this ring since the first difficulty. This is a very powerful ring. This ring, Adroit Loop, which is also been used since the first difficulty, and of course the Bone Helm, which also been used since the first difficulty. These 2, 4, 5 items remain the same since the first video. Now for these 5 items there are all different items. Let's check the artifact first. This is the Tyrant's Fist. This is a great artifact because it gives 60 flat damage. This damage is physical damage. It also gives some bleeding damage, which I don't really care about. It gives some lightning damage, which I don't really care about, but I care about very much about the 30 vitality damage. This is a vitality and physical damage build, so this Tyrant's Fist fits perfectly for this build. And it also gives plus 16% strength points, which helps with our strength points here, which helps of course with the physical damage of this build. And of course the other great thing about this artifact is that the completion bonus gives up to 24 damage, flat damage, physical damage again, which boosts even further our physical damage. And one more great thing is the skill that this artifact grants. It gives the skill Earth Render. It is a skill that gets activated on attack when we attack enemies. It has a 2 minutes recharge rate, which is much, but not very much. There are skills that are that have even bigger recharge times. So this is something like an okay recharge time. The great thing about this skill is that it is a very powerful skill. It deals up to 3100 physical damage, 6100 lightning damage, and also it deals up to 4 seconds of stun. So this is a skill that when it gets activated, it can kill most of the bosses of the campaign with one hit. Maybe not the big bosses, Typhoon, things like that, you know, but there are smaller bosses that this skill can truly obliterate them. It is a very powerful skill to have. Of course, this is a greater artifact, it is not a lesser artifact. There are 3 types of artifacts: the lesser artifacts, the greater artifacts, and the divine artifacts. This is the middle one. And it is a very powerful artifact. I don't know with what and if I will replace it in the next difficulty. I will try to find one artifact good enough to replace this one. But anyway, let's continue. Here we have the Athena's Battle Greaves. This one gives a good base armor, 384. It is not the best armor we can get from items for the boots in this game, but it is a good armor. For the epic difficulty, of course, it is very good. This is a very nice item because it gives also fire resistance, cold resistance, poison resistance, and it also gives plus 26% physical damage. It is mostly a defensive type of item, but it also helps with the physical damage we deal, and it helps very much because we are a physical and vitality damage build. It also gives some strength points, health points, defensive ability, which is always useful, and plus 27% movement speed, which is very useful. This item is perfect for this build, and the only complaint I have of this item is the base armor. 384 base armor. But this problem, we have a remedy for this problem actually. For this base armor, the low base armor, we also have low base armor on the bone helm, 288, but the base armor of our items, all of our armor items, is getting boosted by this amulet. This is a new amulet. In the first difficulty we were using a different amulet. This is the essence of Styx. This is a powerful, very powerful defensive type of item. It helps very much with the defenses of our characters. It gives plus 33% armor protection. Now this plus 33% armor protection boosts the armor of all of our armor items. So this one gives its 384 armor, and it also receives plus 33% armor, so it goes higher. It is not 384, it is 510. As you can see here in the combined armor frame, there is the leg, and in the leg we receive 510 armor from the leg. This is because we have the bonus of this amulet. So this one helps very much with having bigger armor for our hero. It helps very much with the survivability of our hero. Of course, the great thing about this amulet, one more great thing, is that it gives a good amount of elemental resistance, a good amount of poison resistance, a good amount of energy leech resistance, which is not that important, but anyway, it gives a good amount of health points, plus 600 health points, and plus 95 defensive ability, which is very useful and important too. This is a great item, as you can see, and also it fits perfectly theme wise because the name of this item is Essence of Styx. Styx is the river Styx which leads the souls to the underworld, and since this is the Fate Atropos and her job is to send actually humans to the underworld because it cuts the thread of life of humans and animals and everybody anyway. it sets them to the other world. So theme wise, this amulet fits perfectly to this build, the Fate Atropos build. Now for the two items that we have here, the chest armor and the bracers, these two items belong to the same set. It is the Alexander's Panoply set. The bracers first, this is a very powerful and very good item for this build. It has a great base armor, as you can see, 492. And also it gives a nice number of pierce resistance, which we need very much, and cold resistance. Also it gives strength points, a good amount of offensive and defensive ability, and plus 22% attack speed. All of these stats are very important for this build. And of course here we have the Alexander's Cuirass, the chest armor. This is also a great item. It also gives 492 base armor. Also it gives a good amount of reduction in bleeding duration. Of course now with the bleeding, our bleeding resistance is 80% on the epic difficulty. Because first of all, this item alone gives 96% bleeding resistance, and also this item gives 113% bleeding resistance. So bleeding damage is not a problem for this build, but it is nice to have a reduction to bleeding duration. Also we get cold resistance, lightning resistance, strength points, offensive and defensive ability, a good 14% chance to avoid projectiles, and plus 2 to all skills. So here we can see why we have all of our skills on plus 2 levels. This is why all of our skills have blue numbers. And of course the bonus we get when we use two items of this set is the plus 10% strength, which of course makes our strength points go even higher, and we can deal even more physical damage. So these are the items. Also we have a secondary setup. Here we have I have a third Atropos assistant here, and here I have the Shield Bloodthirst, the Glutton. Now I'm using this secondary setup not very often, but I'm using it mostly when I need more pierce resistance. As you can see here with this setup, with this shield, my pierce resistance is 71%, but with this setup my pierce resistance is only 34%. Now if I fight against many archers, for example, they surround me and they fire their arrows to my character, and I need more pierce resistance, I equip this setup. I gain more pierce resistance, things are getting easier, of course, I survive much better this way. I kill these enemies and then I move on using the primary setup. So this shield gives pierce resistance, life leech resistance, a percentage to life leech damage, a 30% of attack damage converted to health, which helps even further with the survivability of our hero, some chance of life leech retaliation over 3 seconds, some strength points and some defensive ability. So I find this one to be very helpful with this build. So guys, this is it for the items too. Now when it comes to stats here, we have a very good amount of resistances, at least on fire, cold and poison. The lightning resistance for the epic difficulty is okay. It is not high, but it is not low either. It is a mediocre. It is okay. Of course, the pierce resistance is somewhat low. It is a bit low, but it is not a problem actually, unless we fight many archers together. And then we equip this one and the problem is solved. And of course we have the 80% maxed out bleeding resistance because we are using these two items together. If I put this setup, it goes down to 57%, but this is not a problem. Now here this resistance is stun resistance and disruption resistance are on 0%. The energy resistance is 43% and the vitality resistance is minus 40%, and this resistance alone is the reason why I died 5 times on the epic difficulty. My total deaths with this character so far is 14. I died 9 times, if I remember correctly, on the first difficulty, and on the second difficulty I died 5 times, and mostly because I have minus 40% vitality resistance. So guys, this is it for this build so far. The offensive ability has a nice number, and the defensive ability has a good number for the epic difficulty. So we are okay, this build works pretty fine, it is very good, very powerful. At least for the normal and the epic difficulty, it is a very satisfying build to play. Now, of course, in the next difficulty, all of our resistances will go down, and then the true challenge will begin with this build, and then we will have to see to find out if this build is capable of defeating the legendary difficulty without many deaths. So guys, thanks for watching this video once again. If you like this video, hit the like button, leave a comment if you have any questions about the build, or if you have any suggestions, or even if you have ideas for new builds that you would like to see. Maybe I will be able to create some of your ideas, I don't know. I'm already working on a couple of builds that were ideas of my subscribers or viewers that have not yet subscribed to the channel. But also subscribe to the channel if you watch videos of this channel and you like these videos. Why not subscribe and stay updated with more videos, because we are going to have hundreds of more videos of Titan Quest videos and other games too. So once again, thanks for watching. I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye!